Good morning, everyone. I welcome you to this Evolve series of ORABN. And we have a very interesting and exciting speaker today to educate us and to let us know how, as individuals or as an organization, we could benefit from this Industry 5 revolution that is taking place. With very little to say, I will request Chandramouli Pandya to please introduce our speaker, and we'll begin the meeting right away. So Chandramouli ji, please, over to you.
Thank you, Kailash bhai. And we are going to start off today's session with a member introduction. But I would like to invite Padmanabh Bosamya to come forward and introduce himself and the work that he is doing. Right? We decided that it would be appropriate for members who are already working in Industry 4 to come in and introduce themselves. So, Padmanabh, I am going to pass on to you. Please come forward and introduce yourself.
Good morning, everyone. Are you able to see my screen?
Not yet.
Okay. Now you are able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
I would like to thank everyone, especially the Old Boys Association, for giving me this kind of an opportunity. What I'm going to do is I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. Neither, we are trying to discover something. Because I heard some saying which says that 99% of the people in the world are not innovators. So if you want to innovate something, you need to change that wheel. So what I do is, I combine technology and combine that with humans to reinvent that wheel. I'll just tell you a brief about myself. I've been working in sales and marketing since past a decade or so. And since then, I've been involved in doing AI and machine learning for different industries across different services. So what I did was I combined all my experience and things together and formed a company called SalesWave. Now, what this company does is it combines sales with the technology which are needed to work towards sales for businesses for 21st century. So basically, these are the kind of services we have. I'll just show you my services which we offer. We do sales promotion for people. We do sales consulting, audit, research, mystery sales. These are the things which we have divided in terms of shifting the entire dynamics for business in terms of AI and doing sales and things for company in longer run. So what I'll tell you a brief about what we did for one of the companies in a vacuum industry. We had a staff size of about 40 people and the office had about 10 people. And what we identified was the profit was not growing for that company for past 4 years. And the turnover had always been about 3 crores or something of that sort. So we had identified what needs to be done, how it can be done, leveraging on the technology for using machine learning and AI. And we helped the company to, channelize their sales and increase their sales output also. Within a year also, we got a result about more than double what the business the company is doing. Basically, what happens is there are a lot of big consulting firms you have, and they charge a lot of amount for it, and they don't add value to any kind of a business you do. So my focus has always been to use sales with humans to combine that technology together. How do we do it? What ways we do it? Come and interact with me. I'll tell you a way how we go about it. But these are the what, in a very brief way, this is what we do.
Thank you, Saurabh. Thank you, Padmanabh, for that.
Any question? Anything? I'd welcome all those things together.
No, that was a really crisp and to the point introduction, Padmanabh, to your business. It's exciting to see the kind of automation and the kind of digitization and data analytics that you're bringing into the sales space, right? So that gives you a bit of an introduction to what Industry 4 is, right? Before we jump into our speaker today, right, Dr. Saurabh Mehta, I would like to quickly take you down a little history about what industry iterations we have gone through, right? So that we are all on the same page. And you must be wondering, oh, I read about or I studied about the industrial revolution in school, right? Read that there was an industrial revolution. I heard about 5G, but when did Industry 5.0 come into place, right? So let's quickly do a quick summary. With the advent of the steam engine, right, we got the first industrial revolution. That was Industry 1.0, right? Then came electricity, which enabled mass production, right? That was Industry 2.0. With electricity, we could have factories, we could have a lot of mass production. So that was the next revolution in industry. Then came the computers, right? And now you had automation, you had digitization, right? You had factories that would run automatically. And that was Industry 3.0, right? Now, with digitalization, there was a lot of smart technologies that came into play. And I am sure a lot of us have lived through the era of the steam engines, right? And today are seeing smartphones and smart devices like Amazon Echo in our homes, right? That smart devices, smart technology, smart sensors in the industry, all of that is Industry 4.0. And there is also data analytics, which is part of Industry 4.0, right? You must have heard some people say data is the oil, right? Whoever owns data is going to own the industry. Yes, that is Industry 4.0. What you might notice is that with each new iteration of the industrialization, the gap between the previous version and the next version has become shorter, right? Uh, from steam to electricity, it took a while, but from electricity to computers was a shorter duration. And from computers and digitization to smart technology is shorter. Keeping in line with that trend, Industry 5.0 is almost upon us. In fact, I would say we are almost at the start of Industry 5.0. So, what is Industry 5.0? I'm not going to say it. I'm going to let our speaker, Dr. Saurabh Mehta, talk about it. He's got 21 years of career in R&D, product development, system design, and technology analysis. In addition to his contributions in academia, as the Chief Education Officer and Professor at Vidyalankar Institute, he is also the Director and CBDO at EDA Systems, right? And he's also a consultant to Sun Wireless Technologies. He's been a mentor, an advisor, and a board member to various organizations. Right? So, who better than him to talk to us about Industry 5.0? And with that, I would like to pass on to Saurabh bhai. Please, Saurabh sir, thank you for taking out the time today and talking to us and helping us understand Industry 5.0 and the impact on us.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Pandya sir, and thanks to Kailash sir and the entire organization for giving me this particular opportunity to share little what I know. And I'm sure the what kind of like a background that I see already. I've seen Padmanathji is already coming from like AI/ML and then AI industry. So it's going to be very interesting session, and I'll be appreciating if it is more kind of like a on a dialogue basis rather than on a monologue that I just keep talking and then there is nothing. But as per the format, what I understood is that first I think 30-35 minutes I will get it present something and then maybe we'll have some interaction time. So let me just start with my presentation. 1 second, I rights to share. Yes, I do have a rights to share. Is my presentation visible to everyone? Yeah, and I hope my audio is also fine.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so once again, thank you, Pandya ji, for a wonderful introduction. So Currently, I am actually working as a chief academic officer and professor at Vidyalankar Institute of Technology, and beside that, I'm also working as an independent consultant. Actually, I started my journey as an entrepreneur, and then we developed many like a product. But my passion was always for like a teaching, and I always thought that I move at some point of time in academia. That's the reason now I moved to academia, but still I'm keeping in touch with the industry as a like a consultant. So many of this particular the presentations and the pictures and everything I have taken from various kind of references. So what I wanted to present over here is mainly couple of ideas, definitions, and everything. Maybe if there is a more detailed conversation is required, maybe the end of the presentation we can have like a more technical discussion. So just to give you like a little background about this thing, already Pandya ji has mentioned about it, but let me just reiterate it. I mean, right from my graduation day to my PhD thing, I've been working with the industry. I mean, my journey is a bit different. Generally, when we talk about like a PhD, so they are more like an academician, but throughout my career, I have worked with a different industry and been involved into more into application-oriented research rather than fundamental research. So, and my core area is into the designing wireless network embedded system, RFID, IoT, and this kind of technology. From last 7 to 8 years, I've been into educational technology, mainly into the gamification, that how we can try to make a learning program as a game. And throughout my life, I have been involved or lead the team to develop like a several product. So one particular product which I'm very proud about it that I would like to mention. So I'm sure all of you might have heard about the Amazon Fire Stick. So basically, Fire Stick is nothing but help you to convert your semi-smart or not smart TV into like a smart TV, and then you can do like a streaming and all this thing. So I'm very happy that whatever research I have done during my graduation time, and that has been converted into like a full-fledged product, and now it's been very successful. So similar in a line, I have developed battery monitoring, RFID-based asset management system, many IoT sensor type prototypes. So now I've been involved with many startups. So I help them to develop their prototypes and take them to the first round of funding. And so let me start with this particular like a presentation. So before I start, just wanted to give a brief background. So I may say the people have seen three big revolution in information technology. So if I go back in 14th century or maybe early 15th century, so the printing technology was the first thing. I mean, once the Gutenberg, who actually invented the press, and the first book that he published was a Bible. And now you can see the impact of this thing now, because the printing press started. So the information start to flow among the people. The people start to interact with each other, right? And then the world started to come closer. And then the second big invention that, in my opinion, is the telephone, when Graham Bell invented the telephone. So there is a one more step to bring the people closer, started to make a network of this thing. And obviously in the year of the early 20th century, or I may say the first 21st century, we started with a digital technology where we are connecting with the device to device, and we are making a very good a communication. But in my opinion, what right now we are going through is the fourth revolution. So where we are not just connected with like a machine to machine, but a human to machine, and human to multiple machines that we are connecting. So this is what basically like a fourth revolution that we are bringing into like a communication technology. So this is the base, I may say, for industry 5.0. So in industry 5.0, I mean, already Pandya sir has introduced you, but let me also take you quickly through it. So initially it started with the early 18th century, 17th century. It's with the steam power, right? Steam power, and we can see its impact. I mean, I may say that India become like I mean, we are under the Britishers because of this particular like industry revolution. And then one time India was known as a like a Sone ki chidiya, and suddenly it become like, a poor country. So that's the biggest time I say impact. I mean, I can go on and on about it, but so that's kind of like an impact people have started to see. Then the second industry line that generally we have seen during the World War I, World War II, electrical revolution, then there is an assembly line, and you can see there is a kind of like a production that is started to happen. And then we come to industry 3.0, early maybe 80s or early 90s, where like, people understood the power of like a computing, and then they started to involve computing power into that, right? And then we move to industry 4.0. So right now we can see that thing, each and every device has become like, the smart device. And the best thing is that they are not smart, but they are able to communicate with each other, right? So just for example, your AC wants to talk to your phone. Yes, that is possible. Now you can see that thing, all new phones, and I mean, all new gadgets, they have a communication capability, and all smart devices, they can start to communicate with each other, right? So this is, I can say, the industry 4.0. But what is a very unique point about industry 5.0 is the interaction between the human and the machine. So let me elaborate this bit with one example. So right now, all of you have seen that your AC, I'll take example of home appliances. AC. AC comes with a sensor, right? According to your ambient temperature, it adjusts its own temperature and make the cooling, fast and low and this thing. But what it is missing is that, let's say you enter from a very hot noon to your office or maybe to your home, and then you are, draining in your draining, and then with a sweat, and then you see that, oh, you immediately need like, some kind of like a heavy power cooling and something. If your AC can identify that thing, oh, this person has actually just entered and I need to increase my, decrease basically my temperature, and then there is a human touch to it, right? So immediately it recognizes that okay, this is a requirement, and then you can start doing this thing, right? So this is where it is interacting with the human and the machine. So this is a very unique feature about industry 5.0. So in my entire presentation, most probably I'll be talking about this particular like a point. And over here, I mean, to make this kind of like a communication, what are the skills that is required, where we are lacking, how we need to go ahead. So I'll be touch upon all those particular points. Yeah. So moving ahead, still I may say that industry 5.0, it's kind of like, it's a big elephant, and there are like, all blind people, they are touching to a different part of this elephant, and they are try to claim that thing, oh, this is what is industry 5.0 looks like, this is what is industry 5.0, it should be 5.0. So everyone has a different definition, everyone has a different kind of like, understanding about this thing. So I may say that still it is at a nascent stage. Lots of like, the literature is coming up, researcher is coming up. They are trying to define this particular industry 5.0, that what is it. So still I feel that as a researcher, we do not have a very clear picture, or we do not have a complete specification what we can call it as a like a industry 5.0. What we try to understand is that some of the features of it, and how we can actually include into industry 4.0, so to go ahead. So this is what is like a current scenario. So from my personal opinion and my personal understanding, I will consider industry 5.0, it's a combination of IT technology, operational technology, and a smart object. When all these things comes together, it makes industry 5.0, and more make it as a more kind of like, the personalized experience. So this is what is like my understanding about 5.0, and I'm sure the kind of like a all of you have a background. I mean, so all of you may also have some different kind of like a thinking about it. So I may say that thing, we all are not wrong, and obviously we all have some different perspective to get this as a standard, and still it is going to take a time to evolve and come up with some kind of like a standard understanding. Yeah. So what is basically is that it is basically depend on like a three thing. One, industry 5.0 is a very people centric, where person is going to be at the center of the technology, why we are consuming a technology for a person, how to adjust our technology, that is also for the person, and that should be the people-centric thing. So when we are talking about like a, industry 4.0, it's not much about like a people-centric. What we try to do in a 4.0 is more to make it like a customization. More standardization. We start to follow like a standardization, and in many times it happens that in standardization when we do so, we left with many people, we left with many kind of like a customer, potential customer. So let me give you just one example with this thing. So right now we have, some set of thinking about like how it should be the internet. Now, if I wanted to ask that, how many people in this, in world, they are actually accessing to internet. So the total population may be somewhere around 8 billion, but it is hardly reached to, 3.5. So there is a still, it's a digital divide. And then why we are not able to this kind of like fulfill this digital divide? There are many reasons to it. So one particular reason is that still we have not adapted our technology as a people-centric technology. So that we need to do. So once we try to find out the solution for that thing, I'm sure we are able to fill this particular gap. So, and very important thing is that it should be sustainable and also the resilience, right? And then it should be able to adapt as per the scenario. So let me try to show you one particular like a small video. So I know that if using like a big terms and other thing may not be able to clear the things, but when you look at the particular like audio visual, I'm sure many things will be clear to you. So let me play this video. In case all of you are not able to hear the voice, just let me inform because I may need to add that sound. Yeah, share sound already have done. So let me play this video. If you are able to listen to this. So, Kailash sir, can you show me the thumbs up? Yeah. So bit longer video, but I hope that all of you have seen the entire day of the modern couple and how actually technology can make their life like a very smooth and comfortable. So you can see that thing at every point there is an intervention from the technology, but it doesn't like look like any unnatural thing. It's very natural. I mean, and it's become a part of your day-to-day life. So this is what basically the people-centric. When I use this people-centric word, so this is the meaning. And let me tell you that it may feel like that, oh, this is kind of like a science fiction. India is like a far away from that. So that is not true. So I've been consulting with like a couple of like a builders. So in fact, one name I can name is like a Luda Builders. They are very quite popular and then very reputed builders in Mumbai, and they are actually giving this kind of like a home automation to their customers, right? Not completely like this because this requires the entire ecosystem, but similar to that. So we are almost there, I may say, and I'm sure the soon the time will come that you can see that thing, that this entire thing become like a reality, right? So even though it looks like a science fiction, but India has already entered into this particular paradigm, and then many people have started to make this kind of like a environment, and mostly builders in the Mumbai and for their luxury apartment and this thing, they are following this particular like a practice. Me take you. So now generally always the question comes to is that SMEs and MSMEs. So generally what kind of like a resources they I mean find. So I always get a client and they say that we don't have like enough kind of am I audible now? Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yes, you are.
yeah. Thank you. So there is always they face this is like a very common kind of like a challenges that I hear from them, that first of all we do not have like enough resource in terms of human or expertise or a budget, and that's the reason we are not actually able to adapt to the new technology. We do not have any separate kind of R&D. We do not have any independent like a technology department, or our people are not trained in that way. Our adaptability or scalability is very limited, and we do not have this. I mean, so these are some of the challenge always you can find, and a very common in particular kind of a challenge I find is that they do not have any standard system as a like a SOP driven system or a data driven system. There is no system like a knowledge sharing. So yes, all those challenges are there, and I can also understand, and this particular challenges are there. But at the same time, it also brings lots of like opportunities, right? So what are those particular like opportunities? So let me show you that. So see, technology maybe at the start or adapting it might be expensive, but now there are the multiple options been coming up, and especially open source technology, because I use lots of open source technology, so I always advocate it for the open source technology. So when we are actually using like open source technology, almost for any kind of like a project or any kind of like a system or a product that you wanted to develop, the cost immediately comes down like almost, I may say, 50 to 60% down, right? So that makes particular like any adaptation, it's more easy, or I may say it's more like affordable to send. And then and many a time you do not need to have like a separate kind of like R&D development in this thing. What you can do is that thing always you can outsource those kind of like a development. And the one good thing is that now I'm from academia, so let me also publicize this thing there. So you can look around. I mean, you will find there are many like institute, many college around you, and there are many like good professors who are good in developing a product, who are good in developing like a system. You can always consult them, and if you try to like go and then give some project to them, it will be a best example of like in industry interaction and industry institute interaction. So they can also get like a live project, they can work on it and they can deliver on that thing, right? So you do not need to go to like a very expensive consultant for that thing, and this all thing can be worked out very easily. It's not, it sounds like a bit difficult, but not. It's very easy. We have actually implemented this model, and so outsourcing this kind of like a development help you a lot. And then what I can see is that in majority of SMEs, first of all, they are lacking into like SOPs. So if you do not have any standard process, it becomes extremely difficult to make it as an automation, right? So to make an automation, obviously, if you just look around, you try to make certain kind of like a documentation, you yourself you can identify that there are many things which can be automated, and then you do not require a manpower for it. It can take care of itself, and ultimately it will help you to improve your efficiency and the financial resources, right? And digital transformation is a key. I mean, even if you are not doing right now, maybe within a couple of years you have to do it, because without that, there is no any possibility to move forward. So digital transformation, that's going to bring lots of like the opportunities. Who knows? Maybe it can bring out as some kind of like a different line of product for you. So there are multiple opportunities available even for SMEs and SMA, and it's not like that you can stay behind that thing. And I know there are many consortium, there are many like a standardization process where each SME and MSMEs can take part into that, and they can also take the advantage of a new technology. So personally, I know there are like many standards. If you take part into it, you can get many technology at a very lower price. I mean, and in majority of the case, it's an open domain, so even you don't need to pay any particular like fees for it. You can simply adapt it, and you can actually make your product based on that thing. So no royalty, nothing you need to pay, and then it's a viable solution for everyone, right? So now one more actually case study that I wanted to give you, and this is actually this kind of like a project I have already done with this thing, but for a video part, I have taken it from a YouTube. So this is an actual case study. I mean, so here in Mumbai, there are like a couple of like a local jewelers. They always find this particular problem because at the end of the day, jewelers have to like tally their stock and then valuation and everything, and it almost take like a 3 to 4 hours after their regular like a timing, and it is like not any productive hours of this thing. So then how adapting a new technology, just for example now RFID technology, it's not now new to people. All of you have heard about it. I'm sure all of you are using a smart tag. So that smart tag is nothing but a RFID technology. So using this technology, how we can do this particular automation and make your life like simple. So this is like again a human-centric approach to implement a technology. So let me show you this just a short video so that it is self-explanatory.
The RAIN RFID enables digital identification of your valuable inventories, enabling businesses to identify, locate and authenticate jewels with rich and real-time insights. Manual counting of each jewelry item is intensive and a time-consuming task. The gold and diamond jewelry industry often face challenges in tracking the movement of their products and spend much time in finding items and performing stock checks. The RFID-enabled jewelry inventory management system from Cube Infotech provides real-time monitoring and security of inventories, providing an ultra-fast inventory count, making it suitable for jewelers to manage their inventory operations in their stores, exhibition and consignment operations. The solution is scalable to integrate with any legacy ERP system. The solution process starts with printing and tagging of the valuable inventory in the store. Specialized RFID printers are used for printing and programming of the jewelry tag. Our experts train the client in the proper way of tagging the jewelry. RFID tags can also be programmed using the mobile RFID encoder. The XARC RFID handheld reader is especially designed to work for the gold and diamond industry and is used for inventory operations, including real-time stock checks, item locations, transfers, and received operations. It has the capability to scan bulk inventory of up to 200 items per second within 2 meters of read range. The Smart Tray from a Cube enhances customer experience by monitoring each piece of jewelry kept on it to display with an interactive screen. It also helps customers to view multiple products on the tray and get sales estimations. The tray captures live data to understand customer trends, merchandise performance, and sales conversions. The Cube RFID Smartbox enables workflow automation and monitoring of expensive diamond and gold stocks. It also provides 3D scanning of densely packaged inventory bags and stacked trays in challenging environments.
So here one particular example of inventory management, right? So inventory management is really important. And I think many of the manufacturing company or many of the stockists, they always face this like a logistic problem, right? So I was actually working with one particular a company. So they were having multiple warehouse in multiple cities. So and taking any particular a decision is always based on their sales, regular invoices that are coming. So there are many complications managing multiple warehouses, and then you have to always get the live inventory. So implementing such kind of a solutions help them a lot. And whatever the decision that you take is generally a data driven, and then it is a high probability of getting a right decision by the data rather than a gut feeling, right? So this is always it's a advantage, and that's what I call it as a more people centric technology. That is what that's going to bring a change into 5.0. So let me also
The RAIN RF
one more particular example, and now I think this has already been started. In fact, I'm associated with one particular a company, ADA system. So what kind of product we develop is that it's doing entire your automation. I mean the buying, selling, all, and integrating with your ERP. Everything system is AI dependent, and then it's completely without any human intervention, and it's automated. And believe me, these are not very expensive technology, right? So one particular reason is that because we build those particular technology on open source, and the second reason is that that to work on those kind of expertise. I mean, once you develop this particular a common system, it could be easily adaptable to a different scenario. So the tweaking part is a very less. So that's one of the advantages, and makes the entire technology very sustainable and at a low price. So let me show you that also example. So I'm sure many of you are also facing this kind of a problem.
Rillian helps you manage and approve supplier invoices. It comes with a standard integration to AX, validated by more than 100 customers. Data is transferred between AX and Rillian in real time. The invoice process often starts with a purchase order. Purchase orders from AX are transferred to Rillian via the integration and can be reviewed in the purchase order view. Supplier invoices are scanned and invoice data is captured at the header and line level. The result is visible in the invoice log. Rillian's powerful matching engine processes the invoice data and decides what will happen to the invoice. Many invoices are automatically matched against the purchase order from AX. Matched invoices inherit the account posting, cost center, and project from the purchase order and are automatically transferred to AX for payment. Invoices that are not matched against a purchase order can be matched against a contract in Rillian. Invoices that deviate from the corresponding purchase order or contract will be sent out for manual approval in a predefined approval workflow. Cost invoices will always be sent out in a workflow for approval according to predefined rules. The approval workflow can consist of one or several approvers, and the workflow is easy to change. Once approved, the invoice is transferred to AX. All fully matched and approved invoices will appear in the Rillian journal in AX. Invoices are automatically booked in the general ledger according to the invoice data transferred from Rillian. When the invoice has been paid, payment information is transferred from AX to Rillian, where the invoice will be archived and remain available for searches and reports. Easily search for any invoice regardless of its status, during upcoming audits, to detect potential bottlenecks, to see and evaluate matching statistics per supplier, to identify improvements to the process, increasing efficiency. Read more about AP automation from Microsoft Dynamics AX. Rillian, bringing peace of mind to accounts payable.
Yeah. So nowadays with the GST and then all this thing, we have many compliances to follow. So and in case if you miss anything, then unnecessary you attract to the penalty, right? So we want that entire process to be like automated. You don't need to worry about it. So just imagine a system, complete automation system, which is connecting, filing your even GST before the 10th of whatever the date may be. And then you are like a stress free. Then many a time you have to like call your customer for a follow-up. Then and especially in Indian environment, we generally actually trade into like some kind of like a credit. Generally people they give credit of like a 30 days, 60 days, right? And then to remember that cycle and to make especially in a trade industry, you have to always like get the follow from the people, and then always ask for the payment. So it's a bit headache. So if you can do this entire thing as a like automation, it's going to save lots of like a human effort into that, right? So there are many such kind of like cases which can be easily handled in 5.0. And when we say 5.0, that doesn't mean like it's something completely like a science fiction or something. But these are like a small thing that we can always bring into it and make our like a business or our manufacturing unit more efficient, right? So what I feel is that how you can actually go about. So first of all, I say that two kind of like a skill set you should have. In a technical skill set, maybe now upcoming technology or the technology which are actually impacting a lot are nothing but a data science, AI, ML, blockchain, IoT, Internet of Everything, Internet of behaviors, right? These are, I may say, very trending technology. There are many more. I mean, so you can say that drone and all those things are also making at this thing. So even in case if you do not have that kind of like a technical expertise to make it, but you should be aware about this particular like a technology, right? So it's going to give an advantage to you compared to your competitors, right? And the very important one, and I believe that everyone should possess, is that soft or a behavioral skill that always need to keep study about like a future trends, keep study about like what is the new technology coming, what's new things are happening around, and then how basically add up this new research and new technology into our like a business or in our processes. That's going to be the key. And very important thing is about like a mindset. So generally, I'm really sorry to say that, but when I interact with lots of like SMEs and this thing, so I do not find any other problem than the mindset. That people they afraid a lot. If we do this, what is going to happen? If we do that thing, what is going to happen? They always worry about it. So no need to worry about it. And you could be like the first adapter of this particular like a technology, and then always ready to be agile, be adaptable. So that mindset issue, if we can try to remember, the way that I see is to talk about like a mindset is only through this kind of like a seminars or a trainings and this thing, that we can give a clear picture about the technology. What is it? You do not need to afraid about this technology, but you can easily adapt them, right? So this is what is I feel it's required. And I think if I not, I guess I have already completed my given time. But if you have some more time, maybe I would like to show you like a couple of projects where we are currently working on. These are still in a proof of concept stage, and I may say more into like academia space, but still it is going to be like in a testing phase, and will be available as a like a complete like a commercial technology.
Sure, Saurabh sir, please go ahead and share those use cases with us.
Yeah, sure. So let me show you this very interesting kind of like a project that I've been working from almost a year. So what we are doing is that, like, the sports industry is growing like anything in India. You can see that there are so many private leagues are coming and it's attracting lots of business. So how we can actually try to integrate basically like a technology into the sports. So I always love sports, and then in that also like a cricketer. So at a one point of time I was a club cricketer, but soon I realized that it's not my cup of tea, so I just only enjoy the cricket now. But what thing that I have seen that recently we have actually developed a cricket bowling analyzer. So what is generally happens is that you see that if you are playing at the Ranji Trophy or at an international or IPL, such kind of like a platform, you get lots of like a technology advantage to improve your game. But at the grassroots level, there is no technology at all. So many of you might have seen that if you go to the morning to any ground, there is a net, and then bowlers and batsmen, they are practicing into the net, right? And there is only one coach who is actually looking at, like, maybe 100 or maybe more than that particular like a students. So they are not able to, like, concentrate on students to student based like a performance, right? So especially in Mumbai, I say that there are, if I'm not wrong, there are more than 200 different clubs where, or even more than that, there are different kind of like academy in every school, every kind of like, the college, the summer camp and everything is going on right now for learning a cricket. So in cricket, what I have seen is that when bowler they are practicing, they need to focus on three parameter. So one is line, length, and obviously speed. So generally, what happens is that coach can give you the assignment that today, in that you have to practice with this line and length, and then you do it. And they give that assignment, then bowler they keep doing it. But at the end, the coach is not getting any kind of like a report or any kind of like, the detail. And so if you are not able to get this kind of like a detail, so then I cannot give you the proper advice. No, you need to work more on your this particular line. You need to work more on your strength. Your speed is coming down as you are going on with your particular like a bowling. So how we can try to do this thing, right? So, and those kind of like a technologies are already available at this as I said, international level and a top national level team, but they are very expensive. So our job is that try to make this particular technology at a very low price so that it can be easily adapted by school and all the thing. So what we have done is that we have developed our own sensors which goes beneath the particular like a pitch. You can see over here that the grid that I have shown you. So that kind of like a grid is there, and when so it's on under the pitch as well as behind this particular like a net. So I know what is line and length and speed. So just I wanted to show you a small demo. It's a very early actually video I have taken. Now the entire product has been developed to a much more mature stage. So where we notice their entire like the movement of the ball, and this entire thing comes to your mobile application. So coach can see that thing. Oh, where you are lacking, how you are lacking. Let me show you that. Just small video. So this we have done it at our institute.
Hello, we are final year engineering students from Vidyalankar Institute of Technology of Department of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering. We have done a final year project, Cricket Bowling Analyzer, under the guidance of Dr. Saurabh Mehta.
Let me try to go a bit forward if you can. I don't know. Is it working fine? I think it has freeze over here.
Yeah, it seems to be frozen.
Oh, okay. Let me just. Let me reshare that. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, it is, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, we are final year engineering students from Vidyalankar Institute of Technology of Department of Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering. We have done a final year project, Cricket Bowling Analyzer, under the guidance of Dr. Saurabh Mehta.
Of our idea to analyze the performance of a player, and we are applying this idea especially in cricket. Right now we are working on our bowlers analyzing. In our project we are basically tracking three parameters: line, length, speed.
This is a basic velostat voltage divider. The video shows the prototype testing where only the use of one velostat is taken. The final testing uses the total velostat, which is of the size of 10 times to that of prototype, and with the use of the 10 times velostat, the entire pitch is made. Now the display shows the pitching of the ball with respect to the map. The two velostats are placed where one velostat.
Yeah, so here you can see basically, right, that how this. So right now we are into like a testing phase. We have
Hello,
implemented
we are final.
Particular like a demo to couple of like a pitches, and we are getting like a real kind of like a data and how more feasible it is there. So similar to that, there is a one more particular, see this kind of like a result generally you get. So like, looking at this kind of like a result, it's very easy for a coach to guide any particular students. And this entire system is, you can build within like a 50,000 rupees, right? So this is easily affordable by all the colleges, schools, or local clubs. So it will help them to improve the cricketers performance. So similar to that, there is a one more particular like a project that is we are working, and it is again applicable to like a sports industry or healthcare industry. So what we have done is that through the research we have identified basically 15 points. So if you cover those 15 particular like a points, I can actually track different kind of like activity what you do, and whether you are doing right, you are doing wrong, and all those detail can be done. So I'm sure maybe all of you are using like a smart watch, and through that also you are tracking certain activities, right? But this is not at accurate, and it is not going to give you the complete kind of like a calculation including multiple like activities, right? So this is what we have done. I mean, we have developed this wearable kind of like a solution. So this is also applied in the cricket and everything for a batsman. So because when batsmen, they are wearing this kind of like a thing, they know what kind of like, the body posture should be there, and then how balance should be there. Let's say if you are making a proper cover drive, so your leg should come in a proper position, then you bend your body, and then you give a proper shot so that entire weight get transferred, so that you can execute entire thing without having any kind of like an injury. So this is very important. Then we are also using it for a yoga. So nowadays people are actually teaching yoga online, but with the online yoga, the only problem is that instructor cannot see whether your posture is correct or not, or even they cannot see whether your breathing rhythm is correct or not, right? Because these two things are very, very important parameters. So what we have done is that we have applied this particular technology for a yoga posture. So when you are doing a yoga, and if you are wearing this thing, this kind of like a wearable thing, so the instructor can get this data live, that okay, your posture is correct, or your rhythm is correct, and so they can suggest you if you are making any change, and then it becomes like a more effective. Otherwise, only option is that you have to go physically, and then you have to train person, right? So let me also show you the small video for that thing, where you can see that students, they have weared this thing, and they are doing like a one yogasan, and that data we are collecting on a mobile app, right?
Boom, boom, robo-duck, robo-duck, robo-duck. Zoom, zoom, robo-duck, robo-duck, robo-duck. Boom, boom, robo-duck, robo-duck, robo-duck. Zoom, zoom, robo-duck, robo-duck,
Yeah, so it's more kind of like, the one touch into that. So these are some of the things now which have moved from a prototype, proof of concept to now a prototype, and it's more into like a testing. So yeah, these are the couple of things that I wanted to show you. So I guess maybe that's all from my side. So now I'm open to questions, and this is my LinkedIn. In case if you'd like to connect with me on a LinkedIn, I'm a bit active on that thing. This is my email ID. So yes, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Saurabh sir. This was very informative and interesting, right? I am for sure, excited about the different personalizations that we can get. I think a lot of us feel that our work will get easier, right? We will not have to worry about a lot of things, and the systems will take care of those things for us. We would like to, open the floor for questions. So any member, if you have any questions, I would request you to please, kind of raise your hand using reactions, and we'll, kind of transfer to you and take questions from you. Kailash bhai, I think you are the first one to have raised your hand. So Kailash bhai, why don't you start off?
Yeah, thank you, Chandramohanji. Dr. Saurabh,
Yeah.
it was for a layman like me, and I'm not a tech savvy. I think it was a wonderful presentation, which was made easy to understand, kind of, language. And I just want to know how, as an MSME or as an SME, what should be my starting point, or where should be my which process should I start with? Should I go for automation, or should I go for some integration of some kind, or which process do you suggest that I should start with?
See, automation and basic integration, they are not different. I mean, you have to go for automation, but it is going to integrate, because majority of the SMA, they already have some technology running and they are not ready to throw it away. And anyway, financially, it is also not like a viable solution. So what we need to do is that whatever the new thing or automation that we come, it should have a backward integration as well as like a forward integration, so that something new comes up, easily we can actually integrate it. So, and the first step is that we need to like study your entire like a process. I'm not sure, because many company, they are coming from manufacturing. Some of them are coming from a service sector. Some of them are coming from like, another particular like a sector. So first and very important thing is that we need to study, I mean, comes from which particular background, what kind of like, technology will be more suitable to you, what can be done, the automation. So that is the first step.
Great. Do we have any other people who would like to, ask a question to Saurabh sir?
Pandya sir, just call me Saurabh. I mean, Saurabh sir feels something awkward.
Padmanabh, you have a question?
Yeah.
I just want to compliment Saurabh sir in terms of, putting really crisp presentation about what automation is all about.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are a lot of ways and means to, integrate.
True.
In terms of the process industry in manufacturing, which was what Kailash bhai was to. Just wanted to understand, let's say, if there is, I'm talking about very small size businesses, MSMEs and stuff like that, wherein they don't have that much access to technology and stuff like that. And they want to integrate some kind of a process wherein they can come forward to talk about the services or maintenance. Probably one of the main areas in engineering I look at is maintenance.
Yeah.
So in terms of maintenance, how do they start off? What kind of, things are involved?
Okay. Yeah. So thank you for bringing out this particular like a question. So I just wanted to give you one example. I mean, recently means just 1.5 year back. I mean, I actually provided one particular like a solution to company. So they are into like a services, and they wanted to provide like, customer support. So for a customer support, generally, they are into like a battery trading company. Basically, they support like a battery to different data centers and different kind of like a industry. And what they want is that whenever there is a complaint coming to them, they need to register that and they need to replace this particular like a battery. So what generally happens when they put someone, a human being over there, so they are able to take particular like complaint only during the office hour. Generally it is like a 9 to 5, or you can say 9 to 6 or that. After that there is a no particular like a mechanism to take particular complaint. And in complaint, when they register, they give them particular like a docket number. So this docket number becomes like a reference for them. So next time whenever they go, it's like through that particular reference they are able to solve this thing. How basically operation works. So an entire day, this person, they note down this complaint, they give this particular docket number and they pass it on to the engineers, right? But now you are into the business where you need to solve the problem 24 by 7, 365 days, because data center works on that. And whenever they require any kind of help, you should be there to help them. So what is going to happen between the 6 o'clock to the next 9 o'clock? So is there any particular like a mechanism? So I develop entire system. It is like a mechanism. I mean, basically like a phone call. So when you do this particular like a phone call, so or through the automated this thing, you receive this docket number. And what happens is that this entire docket is being collected. And the next morning, when engineers are going to start looking at this particular docket number, they also have the list of number of those cases. So that actually solves within the next day. So your basically like a serving time reduces almost from 48 hours to 24 hours, which is more like a customer delight. So this is just one example that how like a small industry can adapt to the automation and they can work on it, right? I hope I try to answer your question.
Yeah.
Thank you. Rahul Dangar, you had a question.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for that wonderful presentation. I'm also from the education sector.
Oh,
It's great to know the work that you're doing, at the grassroots, I mean, at the college level, the kind of influence that you have on them and the kind of products and research that you do into, making things, more cost effective. So we had a bola bowling machine, which costs around 2.5 lakh rupees. And we're looking at, so interesting, good to know, probably we can work on that part. So that is one. Number two, what is your take on the education? Because I think you have developed one or two educational products as well. Where do you see, this is going to be like in the near future, how it is going to shape up or how it is going to evolve? Because I'm sure technology in a way can complement, cannot replace the teacher part of it. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Rahulji, for bringing out this one more very interesting question. So let me just give you first the perspective about like my background. So I have done my master's and my PhD from outside India, and what I have seen outside India is that generally universities are not the consumer of a technology, but they are producer of the technology. But in India, it's a reverse case, right? What in institute we do is that we just consume like a ready-made software, ready-made this technology. I'm not against that, but what I mean to say is that over there, university, they are actually driving the industry. So I think, and the current scenario now, you might be aware that now we are going into NEP 2020, and the kind of like a paradigm is shifting. So it is really like a great, I mean, is in my institute or in my region, I see that now many institute, they are changing their policy, they are encouraging their faculty member to take it up like consultancy job. They are supporting that, they are building, and now everyone is actually talking about like a startup. So how the startup is going to like survive is obviously the idea need to be conceived at the institute level with the support of some industry. They need like a workforce, so that workforce need to come from the college as an intern and everything. So I feel that as a academician, you have a major role to play. And what I feel is that many SME, they always like they say that thing, we do not have expertise, we do not have like R&D. So now it is also our responsibility to try to reach out to those SME, try to understand their particular problem, and if we can provide them even a small solution, who knows? I mean, it's going to be converted into like a great product which is beneficial to industry as well as like SME. So sorry, to academia also, right? So, and that is, I see that particular future. So as an academician, we have a major role to play, and not necessary engineering. You say that thing, oh, as an MBA or a management institute, what I can do? See, what we can do is that we can actually go to SME, and then we can write many case studies for them, which could be very useful for other people to understand, because they are lacking into the knowledge sharing or knowledge domain gathering part. So that is where we can contribute. Another particular is that we can help them in developing their SOPs, standard SOPs, and then through those particular proper like a document, we can actually help them to improve the quality, right? Improve the quality, and then we can help to identify certain processes which can be done as a automotive. So I guess that is what is my take. I hope that I try to answer your query.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Ajit bhai, you had a question. Please go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good morning, Dr.
Yeah,
Saurabh.
very good morning. Yeah.
Yeah, I come from the services sector,
Yeah.
and I'm in the process of evaluating, apart from the existing services verticals that we provide through two different businesses in the metal parts engineering industry, which also includes rubber, plastic, nylon, all sorts of components that goes into all original equipments globally. And likewise in the ceramic industry for the tiles and other products. So my question to you is, it was very, very interesting and enthusiastic scenario in terms of being in the process of evaluating new verticals to add to the services sector that we are catering to.
Yeah.
And the people-centric IoT and the process automation are the two areas which are I find it very, very interesting and applicable in terms of solving a lot of challenges being faced by the industry. So the question is that how many of the solutions are already at a commercial solutions availability, and how many are still in the pipeline from your platform?
Yeah. Okay. So thank you, Ajit bhai, for this question. Thank you for your this particular a question. So to be honest about it, because I'm in academia and the research is a part of my day-to-day affairs. So I'm familiar with many upcoming technology in this thing. So there are every day I may say there is something new actually keep coming for developing people-centric technology, or I may say the automation. So, and nowadays the best thing is that I just wanted to give you one particular example, that India is actually heavily industry. In fact, the government is a part of it. OpenStack technology, if all of you are aware or not, I'm not sure. So OpenStack technology actually, gives lots of solution now, and people have actually built entire company out of it. So I'll give you one particular company name. I don't know whether all of you have heard about the Zoho company. So Zoho is providing you a platform, and in case if you wanted to come into a digital transformation or business, so within just a few hours, you can ready with your company, and then you can go live, right? So this is again based on OpenStack. So another particular I can give you example is our UPI and all those things. So all APIs are available. You just need to integrate, and immediately you can start doing this kind of thing. So and then in any case, if you require a validation of person KYC or anything, so even Aadhaar platform is that's open, you can do. So these are the big project, and recently we have seen even in a COVID that how the digital certificate and everything was easily transformed. So at the national level, yes, many people are actually contributing, many people are doing that thing, and then if you look at those things, so they solve many kind of automation problems, right? I'm not sure whether it is easily available or easily adaptable in your business or something, but yet at this particular level that is happening. And then what I'll suggest is that you can just keep looking at many open source community, so where people always come up with a different kind of modules, different kind of a technology which can be integrated easily with the service industry or this thing, right? Because I do not have an exact background about your thing, I may not be able to give you the pinpoint solution, but I can just give you the few pointers. That's all. Yeah, I hope I try to do justice with your query. Yeah.
Definitely. Later we can interact at a one-to-one level in terms of identifying the kind of perfect or appropriate solutions for the industry that I see befitting in terms of opportunity to tap. Thank you.
True.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chandramouli bhai and
Thank
Kailash
you,
bhai
Adit
for
bhai.
the opportunity.
Anybody else who has questions? Okay. Saurabh sir, if I may, right, would like to ask one thing.
Yeah,
We
sure.
spoke about a lot of things around the manufacturing or the shops, where these kind of things can help track inventory.
Yes.
But can you also touch upon briefly on how this will help the services folks?
Yeah.
Right? You did talk about the call center example,
Yeah.
but let's talk about things like who are into providing services in terms of consultations, in terms of services, in terms of implementing things for people. How will this impact people in that sector? If you can briefly touch upon that.
Yeah, okay. So maybe I can give you an example about like a project management. So once again, I'll give one case study that sometime back actually we have done this thing. So this project was what? This project was about like hoardings. You see that in Bombay and maybe in all major cities there are like lots of hoardings, right? So these all hoardings are actually consumed lot of electricity, right? Because earlier they were used on like halogen light and everything. Now it has changed to like LED. So this particular case I'm talking about like a 7-8 years back. So in that case, the company to whom I was actually giving a consultancy, so they received this particular like a project and they are into like a project implementer. That is what you mean, right? The how Yeah, so they were into this particular like a service. So they got is like the contract to maintain those particular like a boards, and they need to see that thing that every changes or whatever the new things comes they have to implement over there. So they come up with a new idea that if we can start using the LED.
મારો
So
કોલ તો
LED,
આજે આ છે ઈ જ હમણાં પૂરું થાય એટલે I am not
yeah, so they were into more into like those codings and other things. They need to maintain about that thing. So they wanted that like can we convert this entire board into like a digital? So first of all, if you wanted to convert into the digital board, obviously your revenue and everything is going to go high. But the one very important part was that how we are going to actually monitor them. And at that particular time, data was very expensive. Right now, you are getting like 1 GB data and connectivity maybe on 15-16 rupees, right? At that time, it was like too costly for that. So we entirely like develop a new kind of like a wireless like a system which is continuously monitoring, informing them about like the data. So again, I may say it was a initial project of like IoT, and then it was keep monitoring on each and every like a parameter, and those parameter was actually mapped to the service engineer as their KPI. This is what their KPI, and that every day they have to do it. And that entire system was based on like computer. It was like a mobile application, and on mobile applications you have to like track. So that we are always, because generally in service industry the service level agreement is very very important, right? When you do the service level agreement, and you have to fulfill within those particular like a terms and that. So at that point we try to remove that a human interaction into that thing, and everything whatever it is there, it's been locked for that system. And it was like then you can actually track the implementation where this particular phase is. Every day that particular task has been decided, so that task has been like a monitor and that thing. So it was very helpful in project management entire that experience.
Thank you, Saurabh sir. I think that covers the complete breadth of the kind of industries where our members would be and our audience would be, right from manufacturing to services, right to in fact implementation and call center kind of services also. So it's great to see that a technology that is going to personalize things, right, make things more resilient and more efficient is on its way in towards us. And the only thing, like you rightly said, to kind of adapt to this is going to be an open mind.
Yes, that's all.
So, and a willingness to, experiment and try things out.
Correct. Yeah.
So if I were to quote Jeff Bezos, right, fail
Yeah.
fast, right? So try, fail. Yes, it might fail, but try again, right, till
Correct.
you will find your sweet spot.
Yes. Correct.
That's amazing to hear, sir. I would also, say that you touched upon the India stack, which is a very important thing from an India perspective. The new age India that is coming across, and the initiatives from the government.
Yes.
So, what is known as the India stack or the open stack
Open stack, correct.
are available for everybody. So I would encourage members, right, who are interested in this to search about India Stack and the various technology platforms that are very easily made available to us. Please feel free to reach out, to Saurabh sir or to me if you have any questions around this. We'll be happy to answer this. And Saurabh sir, thank you again for taking out your time, and explaining all the Industry 5 benefits that we are going to get and the amazing things that are on the way. With that, I would like to hand over to Hiren Bakada, who's our Vice President, for the vote of thanks.
Yeah, so before you start, I just wanted to thank you, all of you, for giving me this wonderful opportunity. And I'm sure that maybe you may not get like a pinpoint answer, but I generally give general basis, like what are the terms and other things. And I also try to keep my presentation as much as non-technical as possible, easy to understand. And once again, thank you, ORABN, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, Pandya sir, and thank you, Kailash sir, and entire office bureau. So this is fantastic. I hope that in future we'll get a more opportunity to interact with each other. And on a personal level also, we can connect with LinkedIn. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Saurabh Mehta, for enlightening us, as it were. Like, CP said, the industry, the way forward is more on personalization.
Yeah.
Collaborative efforts between machine and man have been going on at the moment. And now from collaborative efforts to more of a personalized, more of an interactive way is coming to life. I'm sure, and it can't be, you can't give a pinpoint solution because every use case, because this is
correct.
personalization.
Yeah.
So every use case is going to be different.
Yeah.
Yes. So therefore, it is going to be a little bit of a challenge. But today, with the advent of internet and with the advent of people, such meetings, such circles where we come to know about such ideas, it's very easy to integrate such technology. So thank you very much for enlightening us. Thank you, Padmanabh. You were point on, and thank you for presenting to us. And thank you, Dr. Saurabh Mehta.
Yeah, thank you, and I wish you all a very wonderful day ahead. So, with your permission, I would like to take a leave.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you very much, Dr.
thank
Mehta.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks all the members for joining in, and that concludes the session today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.